Hello and welcome to Leicester Arena. It is day 2 of the King Power Quad Nations Wheelchair Rugby competition. United States of America.
King Power Quad Nations Wheelchair Rugby Competition, Day 2. It's time to meet the teams. Please welcome the United States of America's captain. Wearing 14 is Jpn-Usa.
The teams making their way onto the court for the opening match of the day here at the King Power Wheelchair Rugby Quad Nations competition. United States of America played just one match yesterday. A 50 points to 47 defeat to Great Britain. There's Chuck Aoki. What a massive part of this USA squad he is. Jeff Butler, he wears number 6, 27 years of age. He's been a member of this team for 4 years. One of the 0.5 classifications that allows the likes of Chuck Aoki to have so much successful court time. Josh Wheeler, 37-year-old from Tucson, Arizona. There's Lee Fredette, another one who lives in Tucson. That's a real wheelchair rugby hot spot in the USA. Consider themselves the most successful team to ever play the sport. They've medalled in every Paralympics they've ever qualified for. There's Alejandro Pabon, 26 years of age, 3 years in the USA national team. Came on and scored some important tries yesterday, but not quite enough to get the United States over the line for the victory. Now Japan played 2, won 1, lost 1. It went down to the very final buzzer against Australia. 52-51, they lost that, but responded incredibly well, as Mike pointed out earlier. defeating Great Britain, who were riding high after that win against the USA. That was 50-47. Kazuhiko Kano, 36 years of age, one of the experienced members of the team. 10 years he's played for Japan. But if you're new to the sport, keep your eye on this man. Daisuke Ikazaki had a brilliant battle with Riley Batt yesterday in the Australia match, but then took control against Great Britain.
Number 15,
Kotaro Kishi, a 0.5 classification. He was part of the bronze medal squad in Rio a couple of years ago. Takeshi Shoji, he's a full-time athlete, another member of that bronze medal squad, 37 years of age. And finally, Yuki Hasegawa, wearing 25. A jersey change from 20 yesterday. Only been a member of the squad for 2 months. And what a first major championship experience to be here at the Leicester Arena for the King Power Wheelchair Rugby Quad Nations.
Please stand if you're able for the national anthem of Japan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the United States of America.
Two immaculately observed anthems, and the teams embrace before the match begins. Team Japan line up with Hidefumi Wakayama, Kai Kurahashi, Masayuki Haga, Kazuhiko Kano, Daisuke Ikazaki, Tomoaki Imai, Takeshi Shoji, Shinichi Shimikama, Kotaro Kishi, Yuki Hasegawa, Yukinobu Ike, and Sia Norimatsu. United States of America, the only team yet to register a victory in this competition so far. To keep their hopes of qualification for the final alive, they need to beat this Japan side. And they line up as follows. Rob Della, Adam Scaturo, Chuck Aoki, Jeff Butler, Ernie Chun, Josh Wheeler, Lee Fredette, Chad Cohn, Joe Delagrave, Jake Daly, Matt Milstead, and Alejandro Pabon for the USA. Mike Spence, we've got Japan in our shots there. Interesting day for them. They hung with Australia, of course, the world #1 team, the Paralympic champions, and the favourites going into pretty much every competition. However, all in all, despite the defeat, I think they'll be very happy with how yesterday went, day one of the competition.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they ran Australia so close, and it was probably a little bit of an error of judgment in Japan's game management in the very last few seconds of the game that cost them that game, actually. You know, they beat Great Britain. They were comfortable against Great Britain yesterday afternoon. And I think that they'll be keen to set off against the USA here. I probably think they'll have a pretty good chance of beating them.
United States of America animated before the match, as always. The ball bouncing off the ceiling in that pre-match ritual that they have. We saw a lot of different formations yesterday. They used all of the roster, but now it's a must-win game. Do you think that tactic might change?
Well, they're starting actually with their strongest lineup this morning. Chuck Aoki, Butler, Delagrade and Josh Wheeler, all Paralympians, all seasoned athletes. So they're coming out with real intent here to dominate Japan. Japan as well are starting with their lineup yesterday that proved to be their best lineup. Two high pointers, Ike and Ikazaki. They're using Norimatsu, 1-5, who was absolutely awesome yesterday evening. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game.
Joe Delagrave for the USA and Yukinobu Ike will tip off. Ike sits high in his chair. We'll talk about that a little bit later, Mike, but just look how much height advantage he has at this tip-off, which isn't even contested. And Japan will have the first possession of the first quarter. 8-minute quarters. We play at this level of wheelchair rugby. Ikazaki, little fumble from him. And he's pushed out of the field of play, so straight away the USA's intent made very clear.
Great tactics there from USA. Huge load of pressure on them right from the tip-off. You know, they didn't contest, put a lot of pressure on Ike, and of course a turnover straight away.
The USA have their first attack into the Japan half, and straight over the line they get the opening score. Joe Delagrave.
He always makes everything look so easy, so relaxed in his play, Delagrave. Draws you into a false sense of security, I think.
Well, Japan comes straight back through Ikazaki. He'll cruise over to make it 1-1.
Just 40 seconds made on the whole.
34 tries in the competition so far for Ikazaki. Managed 20 in the first match. Sorry, 20 in the second match against Australia, 14 in the first. Here's Chuck Aoki. Very important try scorer for the USA, and he will get his first try. Spent quite a limited period of time on the court yesterday, Chuck Aoki. Made an impact when he was there. Probably spent more time than he'd have liked on the bench as Ikazaki scores his second of the match. But I think that might be part of the master plan by the USA coaching team.
Yeah, I think they favoured Rob Della yesterday, didn't they, as their high pointer in most of the lineups. Again, another pretty experienced player, but Chuck Aoki is their go-to high pointer.
Just over 1 minute gone. Japan 2, United States of America 2. Here at the Leicester Arena, it is day 2 of the Quad Nations wheelchair rugby competition. The first time this competition has been hosted. It's all of the Paralympic medalists and the European champions, Great Britain. Josh Wheeler in for his first score. So 3 tries, 3 different scorers for the USA.
Norimatsu doing some great work in defence there, considering, you know, it's a 2-5 playing a 1-5. He's working really hard all the time. Here in offence as well, picking out a lot of the USA high pointers, just making it a lot easier for Ike and Ikazaki to move up and progress up the court.
Well, Ikazaki going through the gears in these early phases. That's his third try, Japan's third, to level things up. So we're all square. However, the United States of America about to go over once again. Joe Delagrave, that's his second score. USA essentially have snuck in front by virtue of the fact that they lost the tip-off but forced the turnover.
Yeah, they used the key defence really well, pushing Ikazaki out of bounds on the baseline, or pushing him through the cone, actually.
Ike. So the United States of America once again guarding that key. Ike tries to force his way through. 20 seconds on the shot clock remaining, but Ike finding space and getting his first score of the match.
Jeff Butler, the hard pointer for USA on the corner there, was working really hard to keep Ike out, but unfortunately failed this time. But they're well organised in the key, USA.
Here comes the first high pressure and a great pass from inside his own half. And that's another try for Joe Delagrave. 3 for him. But that's the first time we've seen the high press from Japan. Teams only have a limited period of time to get out of their own half for it to turn over. Chuck Aoki getting back very well, but the penalty goal awarded. Real turn of pace there from Chuck Aoki, though, to get there in front of Ikazaki.
Yeah. Considering the impairments that these athletes have, they are incredibly quick around the court and mobile as well. All have a upper limb impairment. Some have trunk function, some don't. All limited hand function. The great passes like that one to Wheeler there.
Second try for Wheeler. It was Chuck Aoki doing the hard work up the left-hand side. Just before that, actually, Yukinobu Ike nearly picked off the interception.
Yeah, it can be a dangerous thing to do to try and pass over him. Of course, for him it's great because he's sitting so high. Although there we have, I think that shows, Ikazaki's hand function. He really struggled to catch that ball. His limited hand function makes it tricky for these athletes.
Josh Wheeler converts the turnover. 3 tries for Wheeler. And that's the first time that Japan have been turned over. So 1 turnover apiece, and essentially USA now have some catching up to do. Apologies, Japan have some catching up to do, but that's a good start. Ike getting his second try, the big number 21. Oh, Japan really applying pressure, and Aoki having to go in and do some blocking. They may have to call a timeout here, USA. And it is called with their shot clock on 29. They have 12 seconds to get out of their half. Otherwise, the ball gets turned over, and that would be a real blow, given the fact that they've just turned the ball over to take the lead.
It would. As a team in offence or in attack, you don't want to get caught low down, because that makes it really, really hard to get out. They had Chuck Aoki caught low, very low down. They had a half-point inbound, so they couldn't get a long pass in up the court. That's that's advantageous to Japan. Then it makes it really, really hard to get out of the half.
A replay of that turnover there, where Ike trying to find Ikazaki, but it was good blocking from Wheeler and Aoki, and then well converted by Josh Wheeler to give the United States of America the lead. 4 minutes 30 of the first quarter remaining. Alejandro Pabon is on for the first time in this match and gets his first score. Pabon, a 2.5 pointer. Restoring that 2-point advantage as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter. Ikazaki, once again, his 4th try. Brings Japan back to within 1, 7-8. Japan have made some changes as well. Kai Kurahashi, the 0.5 pointer, comes on wearing the number 3 jersey, 27 years of age. She's been a member of the national team for 1 year. She's the only female in the Japanese squad. It's Pabon hustling and bustling towards the edge of the key, dummies the pass. And finds Jake Daly. He's come on as a substitute, and he gets his first.
Yeah, he's fairly new to the USA team. Another 2-5. Oh, quick turnover there. Poor pass.
Josh Wheeler takes full advantage. He's been their go-to man for the turnovers. He's converted both of them, and USA taking a 3-point advantage here, flying out of the blocks. But Japan responding well, and Ikazaki makes it 5 for him in this match.
So Shimikawa is back on now as the other 3-pointer. Yukinobu Aiki has gone off, and you know, that height advantage has gone from Japan. It looks like their ability to pass as well has gone too. A lovely pass there to Jake Daly.
Daly moves it well to Pabon. Goes inside there now. Oh, massive hits. Alejandro Pabon taking punishment from all over the court, but still working hard to find a way into the key.
There was a really big hit on Ikazaki from Wheeler as well in response to that hit. Really nice shunt from behind.
Well, we have our first penalty. Japan with a player sent to the penalty box, so they will play the next phase with just 3. And this is where the USA will take their time, because Japan won't be back up to 4 players until the next try is scored.
They'll just run this time off. They've got a 2-point advantage at the moment. They don't need to rush. They just want to take time out of the game. They've got just under 3 minutes left.
Jake Daly picks up his second. And now Shimikawa is back out of the penalty box.
Lovely give and go there from the half pointer Karahishi.
Oh, great work from Ikazaki. Of course, with Ike off the court, he has to do all the more work.
Yeah, he has got Shimikawa as well to support him. Shimikawa has, he has a lot of power. He's sat a bit lower. He put in that big hit at the other end just now. He's very, very mobile on the court.
And just with his back to us then, you can see how broad and strong he is around the back and shoulders. But he's getting gassed here by USA number 10, Josh Wheeler. 5 tries for Wheeler. 12-9. Dream start for the USA. Shimikawa. That's a first try for him.
So Japan, they have a female athlete on as their point 5, Kei Kurahashi. That means that they can actually play 8.5 points on court, which gives them an advantage because they can play 2 threes and a 2 on here, which gives them a much more mobile.
Josh Wheeler goes over again, glides through the court. He's able to generate so much pace in that mid-court area. Japan struggling to deal with that at the moment.
Wheeler is a sensational 2-5. Brilliant and great in defense as well because of his mobility and speed, and he sits quite high as well. Very aggressive.
Tries to lift the wheel of Ikazaki.
Yeah, very aggressive player.
To no avail though. Ikazaki carrying Japan, certainly in terms of the scoring at the moment. He's got 7 of their 11 tries. Jake Daly absorbs the contact, and there's the first turnover for Japan. That's what they needed. Ikazaki beating Pabon to the ball, snatching it and getting up over the halfway line. So Japan now with the opportunity to close the gap to just 1 try.
Yeah, a bit of a loose pass there from Daly, just a bit weak really. Quite reach Pabon.
12 seconds left on the shot clock. USA guarding that key. There's not a lot of space, but they do find the pass and find the score. Haga going over in reverse with just a few seconds remaining on the shot clock, and that's made things a bit more interesting. Japan 12, USA 13. 50 seconds of the quarter remaining. Now it's all about clock management. Oh, there was another opportunity there. Ikazaki put in the hurt on Jake Daly, and they've got hands on it again. Oh, Japan so close to having the chance to equalise, but as it stands, Josh Wheeler goes over once more, and the game becoming a little bit more frenetic towards the end of this first quarter.
Well, USA have the arrow on the officials table over there, which will give them possession at the start of the next quarter. So they'll want to try and get the last score, really. But Japan now, look, can, you know, they have
12 seconds left on the quarter clock. Ikazaki trying to manage that and not give the USA the opportunity to respond. He goes round the outside and crosses the line to close the gap to one try with 4 seconds of the quarter remaining. Japan 13, USA 14. If USA are going to do something, needs to be quick. The Hail Mary goes up and the hooter goes. So Japan, a good response from them. Remember, they were 3 scores down a couple of minutes ago, but at quarter time, USA 14, Japan 13.
Yeah, Japan will be pleased with that. You know, they managed that last 30 seconds of the game really well, where they put USA under a huge amount of pressure, forced them to score that point, which gave Japan time then to get the final point. You know, yes, USA will have possession for the start of the next quarter, but there's only a point in it rather than 2, which would have then made 3 points if USA got the first score.
And then also take a little bit of faith from the fact that in those closing exchanges, when it did become more frantic, they were getting hands on the ball. They weren't able to convert the turnovers, but they were able to create some discomfort in that USA offense.
Yeah, they were putting Jake Daly under a lot of pressure, weren't they? His handling's not as good as Chuck Aoki's. He's not, well, he's you know, he's a bit green. He's not as seasoned a player as Chuck Aoki.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights from that first quarter. Straight from the tip-off, USA didn't challenge, but created a turnover with the very first play. See Wheeler going over there. 7 tries for him in the first quarter. Joe Delagrave getting in on the action too. This was the first turnover. This was where the advantage really turned for the USA. Alejandro Pabon coming on, and he got 1 try in that opening quarter as well. Big shots coming in as Japan look to increase the physicality to get back into the match. Ikazaki, good start for him. He's also got 7 scores. But the fluidity of the movement for USA was impressive as well. They look a different side from yesterday.
They do. I mean, they did start with their number 1 lineup here this morning, which you would expect them to do, really, because they do want to get ahead in front here. But their substitutions came in and did a good job as well. Japan have been impressive as well this morning. You know, they took Yuki Aiki off. Shikanawa's come in and done a really good job as well. I've been quite impressed with their female 0.5 as well. You know, you don't really see a lot of her, but she's right in the action.
USA get the ball inbounds in the second quarter. Straight away, Japan blocking in the United States. Joe Delagrave on the ball, trying to force the pass. Manages to get free and find Chuck Aoki, who's back on for the second quarter. Oh, that's a lovely pass as well. Drew the players, absorbed the contact, and sent in Joe Delagrave for his 4th try. 15-13. That's our first mechanical fault of the match. Shinichi Shimikawa took the collision.
They take a lot of battering, and to be a lot of the low pointers with their longer chairs with the pick piles on the front, they'll actually look to pop these tyres to disrupt play, really. You know, it's well, it's all part of it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You've got to gain an advantage somehow.
Oh, a mistake in control there. Well, Japan dropping the ball through Shimikawa. Luckily for him, no one from the USA was around to take advantage of that. Snaffled in by Ike. Got another mechanical fault.
That means there's a kick change needed. You can hear the hiss of the tyre. Technical.
Yukinobu Ike this time. Incredible how quickly they managed to do this. The chairs so well tailored.
Yeah, well, they only have a minute. You know, this technical time, they have 1 minute, and you can have problems. The spindles that they use to hold the wheels on with can get bent. It can be really hard to get the wheels off.
And with that, we are back in action. Masayuki Haga inbounds the ball. It goes straight back out of bounds. Just a couple of miscontrols from Japan in the early phases of this second quarter. They've got away with both of them. Shimikawa on the ball, top of the key. USA getting some hands in. They've had great hustle at the beginning of this, but Japan managed to score with 4 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they've got a very strong key, USA, and they brought on Ernie Chun now, who's a 2-pointer but sits in a defensive chair, so very quick.
Jpn-Usa dips, scores the try. I suppose that's his equivalent of the Chris Ashton swan dive, but
well, he got spun out. I don't think he really wanted that to happen.
Japan
yeah,
knowing...
Bit more graceful than Chris Ashton.
Yeah,
eh?
exactly. Hopefully he kept his tongue in his mouth.
Yeah.
And Masayuki Haga as well, putting his hands up to say, I'm innocent, ref.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. You know, in different situations, if there was nobody defending the goal and Chuck was coming in a bit quicker, you know, he could have picked up a flagrant foul for that and been disqualified from the game, you know, so you've got to be careful.
Well, the try awarded, Jpn-Usa gets his second of the match, and USA 2 in front after 1 minute and 10 seconds of the 8-minute second quarter.
So Ernie Chun there, look, blasting at the court in his chair, which is longer, much harder for the attacking players to get round. You wouldn't usually have a 2-pointer in that type of chair.
Pabon gets on the end of that one. He'll wheel clear and get his second try. Pabon at 2.5, 26 years of age. He's been a member of this USA team for 3 years. And he offers a different dynamic as Japan go long. Lovely blocking there from Kurahashi as Shimikawa scores.
Yeah, she's doing really well out there. You know, people don't really notice the .5s on the court, but they do a hell of a lot of work off the ball.
Japan back to within 1, 90 seconds of the quarter gone. Pabon accelerates over the halfway line. He's got no one in front of him. Now he waits for the reinforcements to arrive. Aoki snatches in as the ball was disrupted. Aoki gets locked in. The penalty try awarded. Just seems to be a little bit more zip about the United States as opposed to Japan.
Yeah, there is. They're really, really focused, aren't they? Very aggressive this morning.
Back come Japan. Shimikawa passes off to Ike. Oh, that's beautiful movement from Japan. Masayuki Haga gets his second of the match.
Haga, he's been around for a bit as well. He debuted at the Canada Cup in 2010. So another seasoned player for Japan on the court. And like I say, you playing the woman on the court, you can play an extra half point. So They can play their 2 threes and a 2-pointer, because she sort of counts as 0, really.
Chakayoki gets his 3rd try. USA just looking to get away as quickly as they can in response to Japan scoring, as Ike does all the hard work once again. Had to get around a few defenders there on the right-hand side, but he's such a big, strong ball carrier.
He's incredibly manoeuvrable as well. Twist that chair around. He's a 3-pointer. You think sitting up that high, he wouldn't be able to manoeuvre like he does, but...
Aoki carrying once again. Manages to pass over Ike this time as it shakes into the corner. And USA call the timeout as they were about to drift.
You can over Ike there. What an incredible turn of pace. You know, he sprints right from the baseline to pick up with Ernie Chun there, turn him away from the goal, force the timeout because he was pushing him out of bounds. Brilliant play.
5 minutes 13 of the half remaining. And a tight scoreboard too. Japan 18, USA 19. So for the benefit of the people who are watching the game for the first time, whereas if in rugby union you go out of bounds, then it is going to be a line out. You don't want that to happen in wheelchair rugby, because if you do go out of bounds, the ball's turned over and the opportunity to score is gone.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You can go out of bounds without the ball. And as long as you return in the same place on the court and you're not gaining any advantage, that's fine. You go out of bounds with the ball, it's a turnover. And obviously, you know, they're very, it's a tactic to use the line as a 5th man or woman.
Joe Delagrave gets the try. 5 tries for Delagrave, restoring that 2-point advantage for USA.
He didn't get a place at Rio, Joe Delagrave, but he's been around. He's another one who's been around the squad for a long time. 2009, I think he debuted.
Ikazaki making it look easy. However, his team need to force a turnover if they're going to be level at half-time. They've got their 2 high-point players trying to create pressure, but the USA low pointers really making it difficult for them. Josh Wheeler inside, outside, and over the try line. 8 tries for that man. Ikazaki needing a second bite at the cherry, finds his partner in crime, Ike. Again, that inside and out. Pabon tries to defend it, but to no avail. Ike makes it 5 for him, and once again brings Japan to within 1, 20-21.
Great manoeuvrability there at the try line. Ike twisting his body to tip his chair around so Pabon can't get a piece or a pick to deny the goal. A nice low pass there from Delagrave to get underneath Ike as well.
What a catch from Pabon!
That was a great try.
Had to reach every sinew. There's so much pressure in the middle of the court. Pabon centimetres away from the turnover. As it stands, the 2-point lead restored. Take a look at this, right on the line, reaches over.
You know, and he's very limited in his arm length. You know, look at his arms, they're very, very short. So a great stretch there to catch that ball.
During the replay, Ikazaki has gone over again for Japan. Lovely moment though from Pabon. He's made a big difference when he's come on.
He has, yeah. Japan have gone back to having Norimatsu on the court now. They're 1.5, who did work incredibly hard yesterday. Was picking up all those long ball tries, remember? So sitting right up high to give an outlet for Japan, but he works so hard. You can see him flying up the court now, and he's only, you know, he's a 1.5, so a defensive low pointer.
Ikazaki in possession, 3:29 of the half remaining. Turns in to draw some of those USA defenders. 3 of them paying him some attention. He goes long, Pabon up against Ike, and there's only going to be one winner in a battle of height between Pabon and Ike.
Yeah, that's the great thing about having a player with height on the court, on your team. There's all, you know, you've always got an out, really. Chuck the ball anywhere.
Yeah.
In trouble, you've always got an out.
Well, Pabon pounded his chair in frustration after that.
He did, yeah.
Sometimes you have to pick your battles, don't you?
You do, yeah. I mean, you know, Pabon is pretty restricted in height because of the impairment within his arms. He's a great little player, though, isn't he?
Certainly is.
Massively aggressive around the court.
He's scored in every match that he's played so far, every quarter he's played. Ikazaki getting a little bit of medical attention to that left bicep. 3:19 remaining in the half. Japan have managed to stay within one. They were one behind at the quarter, 14-13. Joe Delagrave carrying forward. Crosses the line after 9 seconds of the shot clock, the 40-second shot clock in wheelchair rugby. Bounces the pass to Josh Wheeler, who cruised in on the left-hand side. 10 tries now for Wheeler. He's the top scorer in the match so far.
Delagrave doing some great work there, though. Lovely passing. Great picking and rolling work to help Wheeler get over the line there.
Ikazaki brings up his 10th. 44 for him in the competition overall. Well, USA's blocking there, preventing that Japanese high press, and a lovely turn from Pabon. Josh Wheeler looking for the pass up ahead of him, but has to check back. Japan start to set up that key defense.
If you're attacking, you only have 10 seconds in that key, so you've got to be really careful if you go in not to get caught in, because the 10 seconds goes really, really quickly.
Delagrave gets the try. 2.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
It's Norimatsu again, putting in the hard yards here.
Ikazaki, bounce pass to find Ike. 7 tries for him, and by breaking clear, it's allowed Japan to set up their defence. And Ike man-marking Josh Wheeler, making that inbound difficult. So difficult to pass over and around with that huge wingspan.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And USA using a low pointer to inbound as well.
Well, Pabon coming in for a little bit of punishment.
Joe Wheeler there, cutting a gap there for Delagrave to bring the ball up. The two of them there now. Really nice work.
Delagrave goes over for the try as we approach the final 2 minutes of the half. Both teams exchanging in this quarter. No turnovers as USA ring the changes. Chuck Aoki comes back on wearing number 5, as does Jeff Butler, the number 6, the 0.5 pointer. And the timeout called as well. So United States of America, they're leading by 2, however they've called for 2 of their timeouts. Japan still have 4 left, so as the game wears on and they come under a little bit of pressure in their half, they want to keep a few of those in the bank.
Yeah, you want at least 1 timeout in the final quarter, really. Puts you under a huge amount of pressure if you don't have any. You know, we saw yesterday with Australia actually against Japan, they lost all their timeouts, Australia did, and that allowed Japan to come back into the game.
Ike, USA setting up that key defence once more. It's a big gap in the middle, but no chance of Ike getting there. Josh Wheeler stayed on. 20 seconds of the play clock remaining, so plenty of time for Japan. Ike finds Ikazaki. Has to find some real strength there to get through Aoki and Butler. But he does that. 11 tries now, 25-26.
Great transition here, forcing Aoki to inbound the ball. You don't really want him inbounding, but it's worked well.
Joe Delagrave in possession for the USA, finds Aoki.
Great work again there from Norimatsu. He's just all over the place in defence.
Chuck Aoki shimmies and scores. Once again, not spending too much time on the court, but in his limited time, he's managed 4 tries. Ikazaki. Aoki back defending, but with 1:10 left on the clock, this is where we start to see a little bit of game management.
Yeah, we've got Japan as the arrow, so they'll have the ball after half time. So they'll want to try and orchestrate this to get the last score if they can.
Well, Ike scores with 49 left on the clock. So this now meaning United States have a 40-second shot clock. If they use all of that, then Japan will have 9 seconds to get the final try of the half and go in just one behind. Josh Wheeler.
So they're making it really hard here for USA to score. USA are trying to run the timeout now. But you'd think if they get left with 11, 12 seconds, you'd favour Japan to score with that amount of time on the clock.
20 seconds of the half remain. United States of America have 8 seconds left on the attacking clock. Well, they've got some work to do here. Oh, and they just got there. Chakayoki. Inch perfect. Well, there's game management and there's game management, and Chakayoki's 5th try of the match, cutting it fine.
Great work from Jeff Butler there on the corner, giving Aoki an out.
2, 1, and USA forced the turnover. The mistake from Japan means that at half-time, United States of America have extended their lead. It's 28 points to 26. Well, a fascinating half. USA looking to respond and get their first win of the competition. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the first half. Chakayoki always looks so focused on the ball, and Joe Delagrave scoring the try there. There's only 2 points between the sides, but similarly to when they were up against Australia yesterday, Japan looks like they're constantly trying to force things to keep up.
Yeah. You do sort of have a feel here that USA are in control of this game. You know, I think USA will feel they're pretty comfortable here. Japan having to work really hard.
Admittedly, we're only halfway through, but what do you think the difference is that you've spotted between the United States of America today and yesterday against GB?
Well, first of all, they came out with their strongest lineup right at the beginning, so they managed to get that lead from the beginning, and they've not subbed in and out quite so much, have they? And if they have, they haven't swapped whole lineups, they've brought 1 or 2 players in and out, but kept Josh Wheeler in there, Delagrave in there mainly. You know, Aoki's been there and thereabouts pretty much all the way through this half, hasn't he?
Well, Japan just 2 tries behind, but before the competition began, we caught up with their head coach.
So Kevin, I think Japan was very, very pleased with the bronze medal at Rio. And you've got 2 really big ones coming up, 2019 World Championships, 2020, the next Paralympics. So what's the big goal for Japan?
Well, our goal is gold medal for Tokyo 2020, and I think everyone's goal is a gold medal, but I think we really have a great team.
And if you look at this competition, at the Quad Nations, how important is this for reaching your goals?
Well, these are steps along the way. This is a step for World Championships preparation, which is really, I think, what all the teams here are focused on is World Championships this year. And this is an opportunity for us to continue to get better, learning the system. I've only been with the team for a year, and really having some high-level competition now is good for us.
And if you look at the calendar, it's like 2018 Sydney, 2019 you're in Japan, 2020 you've got the Paralympic Games. So is there any time to relax, or is it full power all the way?
Well, I think the preparation for Paralympics is always full power, and you have 4 years really to prepare for one event, and this is always full power. We're still recruiting, trying to find new players, develop the players that we have. I mean, we have a great group of experienced players, but we want to get some good young players in our system as well.
So if you look at the King Power Quad Nations, how important is a tournament like this with 4 amazing teams competing?
Well, the King Power Quad Nations is probably the best competition in the world because you don't have an off game, and when you come here, I mean, this is the epitome of what this sport is all about, is that we get to play high-level competition against every team that we play. Every game matters, and that's really important for us, is to see how we fare in that type of competition.
Well, nobody knows the Japanese team better than you. Could you give us a short analysis on your team?
Well, I think Japan has a lot of very good high pointers and low pointers, so our high-low lineups are going to be very strong. I think really it's being able to use the depth of our team and using the experience of our 3 strong high pointers and seeing how we can match up with the world's best.
And Leicester's got to be the place to try get exactly that.
Well, Leicester is the place, and really to see GB with some of the returning players from London, as well as the Paralympic champs and runner-up. I mean, what a great competition.
What a great competition, we entirely agree. And he mentioned preparation there. What better preparation could there be than getting 4 of the best teams in the world, an inaugural tournament, so much to look forward to in the coming years. But right here, right now, all of these teams will want to be leaving with a gold medal.
Oh, they will, absolutely. And you know, World Championships are coming up in August. And, you know, from the World Championships, you can then qualify into Paris. So tournaments like this really, really important. We'll see where the teams are a few months before the World Championships.
And real statements of intent there. Japan want the gold medal in Tokyo. And in terms of the trajectory, they've had 4th place at World Championships and Paralympic Games. That became a bronze medal in Rio. It's certainly moving in the right direction, the sport in that country.
What we can see from this competition, they're 2 3-point games. You know, 1 or 2 passes in the hour that they're playing can make the difference between a win and a loss. You know, you haven't got teams here that are winning by 10, 15 points. It's you know, the really great thing for us in Britain is that the Great Britain team, who are also a real developing team at the moment, are able to come up against the top 3 teams here.
Of course, United States of America, they are constantly at the top. I mean, Australia have arguably overtaken them, but they have maintained that world level for so long now. How difficult do you think it is for them to avoid complacency?
Well, when you're coming up against Australia, who, you know, beat you in the finals of Rio Paralympics by 1 point, probably the best game of wheelchair rugby ever seen, you know. Is that going to make you complacent? That's going to fire you up to win, isn't it? I think being beaten at, you know, such a tight margin. Yeah, they've been around for a long time, but you know, Great Britain beat them yesterday. I was chatting to Rob Tarr, our assistant coach, just now. He's been around the game for a long time. First time Great Britain have ever beaten USA in a major competition. You know, he said he had a tear in his eye, actually.
Well, that's how much it means. And Japan get this 3rd quarter underway. Ike looking to work his way over the line, but USA blocking well. Adam Scutoro taking up his position early in the second half. And Ikazaki will get the first try. Japan back within 1. So that's Adam Scutoro. He's a 1.5 to inbound. It's Josh Wheeler over the top to Chuck Aoki, who'll cruise over for USA's first try of the second half. Aoki's 6th of the match. USA 29, Japan 27.
US back to their deep defense. See how tight they are around the key.
Ikazaki. Japan back to what appears to be their first choice 4. That is Ikazaki, Norimatsu.
Yeah, Japan like this 2 3s, 1 5.5 lineup. The 1-5 gives you, you know, a bit more mobility around the court, and their 0.5 there. You know, Kishi, he's yeah, he went to Rio, debuted in 2010, so he's been around a little bit as well, so he knows what he's doing on court. USA are keeping Aoki and Wheeler as the mainstay of their team at the moment. But you know, Chad Coney they got at the moment, he's been around since 2009, so
There's Adam Scutoro. Because of that melee in the key, he's been sent to the penalty box. He's only been on the court 54 seconds.
Yeah, he's another very good 1-5. Represented USA at Rio. I think that was his first major tournament.
Norimatsu inbounds, finds Ike. Ikezaki. Japan looking at blocking the US players, so when they do score the try.
Yeah, in transition, hopefully they'll have them tied up. Sometimes in this situation as well, if it's a high point player in the penalty box, the attacking team will put a defender on them to try and force them to take the inbound from the start of the next play.
The try scored. 1 minute 30 seconds of the third quarter gone. Chakayoki in possession, looking to ride the slipstream of Chad Cone. And then comes out the back, creates the try scoring opportunity and goes over past Kishi. 7 tries for Chakayoki. USA up to 30. Long pass downtown. Ooh. A little bit too much on that one. It's no try. That's a mistake. He has too much of Ikezaki.
They're throwing a few loose passes out here this morning. Japan, I mean, they were pretty tight with their passing yesterday, but it's happened a couple of times now.
Well, that's a big mistake. Essentially a turnover, and Aoki takes full advantage. That's his 3rd try of the third quarter. It's only 2 minutes gone, and that lead once again up to 3 points. And the frustrating thing for Japan will be, it's not the United States forcing the mistakes, it's them that's making them.
Yeah, they are here. They work so hard to keep that 2-point advantage just to 2 points. They've thrown it away with they didn't really need to make that pass, really.
No. Ikezaki slightly makes up for it by scoring there. There's 14 tries for him. Josh Wheeler. Chakayoki just cruises through. There's a big gap between Ike and Ikezaki.
Some good work trying to deny Ike there. Aoki and Wheeler putting some great pressure on here. 2 higher pointers for USA. They're going to force this time out. Oh, and another
they've turned it over. Well, it's all going wrong for Japan at the moment. The pressure came on Ike. Aoki scores his 10th of the match, and the USA running away with this, a 4-point lead. Well, the biggest lead we've had is 5 points in the entire tournament, which shows you how close it's been.
Yeah.
But 2 mistakes in quick succession. The first, Japan's fault. The second, due to pressure from the USA. Japan respond through Ike.
Wheeler and Aoki are working really hard on Ike here. When Japan are in offense, they're really putting the pressure on him, making it hard for him to receive the ball and then get out.
Wheeler up the left-hand side, goes wheel to wheel with Ike. Just doesn't have to slow him down. Chakayoki out of shot, has been blocked in, but Wheeler goes over.
Scutaro did great work there, taking Ike and Ikezaki one after the other to create that gap for Wheeler to score.
Norimatsu goes back to inbound. Wheeler sticking to Ike. Chakayoki
great
smashes him out of bounds. Came from downtown Aoki. Crash.
So they're really pressuring Ike here. They enjoyed that. Aoki and Wheeler really enjoyed that. Good clash of hands there.
Well, Japan call for the timeout. That's the first timeout they've called in the match. They trail by 4 here, and the USA asking some questions early in this second half. Well, before this match, Australia were top of the group. They'd played 1-1, and they had a points difference of +3. Japan, having won 1 and lost 1, the one they lost was by 1. They beat GB by 3, so they're in second place with a +2. Great Britain won and lost by the same margin, so they've got a 0 points difference. USA, they were -3, so if they win this, they will go level with Japan with +1, and it'll go down to tries scored. If the score remains the same, a 4-point gap. Of course, these teams so evenly matched, it's almost inevitably going to come down to points difference to see who makes their way to the gold medal final, as Ikazaki scores once again. 15 tries for him, he's the top scorer in the match.
So Shimikawa's come back on now for EK, and they brought Karahashi on, the female player, so they're playing that 3-3-2.5 lineup, Japan now, so give themselves a bit more pace, some different options. Jake Daly's on, isn't he, for USA as well?
Yeah, it was Jake Daly.
Already out, kicked out of his chair. 30 seconds on court, bang, you're on your back.
Welcome to the game, mate. 4 minutes 40 of the third quarter remaining. Josh Wheeler with the carry towards the key. Smashes through. Revels in that collision zone, Josh Wheeler. Japan quickly inbound. Ikazaki carries up over halfway.
That's great work.
Turns on the speed to get round Pavon and register his 16th. And that's actually his 50th try of the competition. Ikazaki managed 20 in the victory against Great Britain, 14 in the defeat to Australia. It's Daly. Goes forward quickly, Pabon reaches behind him. Under pressure, but still scores. 4 tries for Pabon. He is limited in terms of the range of his arms, but he's able to generate so much pace.
He'll have full strength in his bicep and tricep and forearm, so pushing the chair will be fine for him. It's just that reaching for the ball and passing where he has limitations, but he does really well with the assets that he's got. Good player.
He's got 4 tries in this match. We're over the halfway point of the third quarter. 3:47 remaining on the clock. 33 seconds on this USA shot clock. Jake Daly just avoids the big collision, makes his way towards the try line. Jake Daly scores. 3 tries for USA's number 15.
There was some great work there from Jeff Butler, the point five, running against Haga, the Japanese 2-pointer, and he stayed with him and picked him at the court to help. So much. You know, if you're watching the game, look at what's going on off the ball.
Well, off the ball, Ikazaki tasted the court. If you are new to the sport, keep your eye on number 3 for Japan, Kei Kurahashi. She's in the top left of your screen at the moment, and as Japan come forward, she'll look to take a position and create space for Ikazaki. There she goes now. The referee's whistle had already gone, but it was just that subtle movement to make sure that Jake Daly couldn't block the try scorer.
She's doing great, some good work there as well, tying up Josh Wheeler.
Ikazaki smashing through Jake Daly. God, they're giving him a special welcome, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I think they feel he's a bit vulnerable.
Pass over the top, finds Pabon. He gets his 5th, restores that 4-point gap for the USA, 38-34, with 3 minutes and 8 seconds of the third quarter remaining.
Daly did well under pressure there, though, didn't he? Took a big hit, stayed calm, got the ball away.
Well, it's a big part of the game, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, not a pass that Shimikawa has to chase. He does well, though. Gets there before Josh Wheeler. Shimikawa gets try number 4 on his personal tally. That brings Japan back to within 3. And of course, the crowd get excited by the hits, but they're a massive part of the game. And Jake Daly will realise that part of his role in the team, as that's a beautiful pass over his shoulder. Lovely reverse. Wheeler over the line.
That's why we want to play this game. You know, we want the physicality of it. We want the contact.
In fact, Daly went in search of it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, play table tennis or something.
Ikazaki. Just forced wide. Parbon sent to the penalty box. Although you mentioned table tennis, Great Britain, of course, have a Paralympic gold medal.
They do, yeah. Yeah. Well, Rob Davis. Yeah, Rob Davis. He played wheelchair rugby actually for my club, which was the Pirates, and is now the Ospreys in South Wales. So he likes his wheelchair rugby too, but sensational table tennis player.
Superb.
So he likes both games.
Yes, certainly does. As Japan go over again, Shinichi Shimikawa gets his 5th. He used to play for the same rugby club as Rob. Anyone watching from Brecon RFC, a very warm welcome. In fact, a very warm welcome to wherever you're watching from. Get in touch on social and let us know. WR Quad Nations is where you can do that. We'll be bringing you 3 matches today. The remainder of Japan versus the United States of America. At 2:30 UK time, it's Great Britain versus Australia. Australia looking to make it 2 wins from 2. Great Britain looking to capitalise on the momentum they achieved by beating the United States of America. Then we take a break, so both of these teams can have a bit of a breather. Then it's Australia versus USA, and that'll be a real litmus test. And it will set us up, because after that we'll know who will be competing in the gold medal match and the bronze medal match on day 3, the final day of this competition. There's a Japanese player down and Chuck Aoki goes over. And we're over halfway through this first match this morning. And it's still so difficult to tell who's going to be in that final.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, Japan lift their game a little bit, they could be back in.
Yeah.
You know, 3 points in the 3rd quarter is an easily, achievable climb back. You know, we've seen you had a couple of turnovers, a couple of loose passes, and you're back level, back in contention.
But if it remains like this, you've got Great Britain, who beat USA. Japan beat Great Britain. USA beat Japan. From a home perspective, and that's swatted out, but it's off Chuck Aoki. Thought for a second he'd turn that one over. And realistically, going into so many sports, you know who's going to win the gold medal as Japan come forward once again. Shimikawa in possession. Australia are obviously favourites, but you've got 4 teams here who at the start of the next Olympic cycle genuinely think that they can go to Tokyo and win gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ike makes it 10 as he goes over in reverse.
You know, Japan ran Australia so close yesterday.
Yeah.
And yes, there's probably a bit of experimental play in here because this doesn't have a rating on any rankings or anything like that. But I think that the actual tournament dictates that they've got to play their best lineups. They want to come out of here with the result, don't they?
Of course. Just under a minute and a half of the 3rd quarter remaining. Japan 37, USA 40. This is Japan's 3rd game in the competition, so essentially they'll be the first in the clubhouse. They'll be the first to complete their group games. This is the USA's 2nd. Great Britain will be next in the clubhouse as they play Australia in the 2:30 tip-off.
Great work there from Chad Cone. They're releasing Chuck Aoki and then
Joe
the ball out to
Delagrave.
Joe Delagrave, who's back on. Another, so calm on court. Again, great pass, great vision. All the attributes of a really good 2-point player.
32 years of age, resides in Wisconsin, Joe Delagrave. Yukinobi Ike, though, surging from inside his own half. 11 tries for him. He's, in terms of his scoring contribution, he slipped down the pecking order to Ikazaki in this match. It's Joe Delagrave, wheels free once again. Just keeps his eye on the clock, though.
Yeah, we're into that last minute, so a bit of cat and mouse here. Who's going to get the last score?
Well, he stopped the clock with 50.6 of the quarter remaining.
Well, there's going to be 10 seconds, whatever happens.
Yes. Shimikawa up the left-hand side. Just checks back, doesn't want to leave USA too much time. Japan, it's damage limitation. They want to go in 3 behind as opposed to 4 behind going into the final quarter. 22 seconds, 21, 20 seconds, but 8, 7, 6 on the play clock. And they call the timeout. A smart play.
So that will give them another 15 seconds now, which will take off pretty much, well, will take off all the time. So they will get the last score here. The arrow is USA's, isn't it? So USA will have possession. So Japan desperately want this last play to keep them in. Well, if they don't contention,
if they don't convert this, then with the USA having the ball, they could be staring down the barrel of a 5-point deficit right at the start of the fourth. And 5 points, with the USA playing as relaxed and as efficiently as they are, is a bit of a mountain to climb. Shimikawa towards the key, smashes through and finds a way to get 2 wheels over the line. Try awarded, 6 for him, but still 7 seconds on the clock. USA up over the halfway line. They've got time here, but they ask a lot of Chakayoki. Can Japan make something happen? No, they can't. But mission accomplished for them. They go in just 3 behind at the end of the third quarter. It's Japan 39, USA 42. Some highlights of the third quarter, when the USA pipped once again 14-13, and they found a way to get themselves ahead. But a lot of the time for Japan, it's been self-inflicted. They've made more mistakes than they'd have liked to have in that quarter.
They have. I think USA really upped the ante. You know, we saw Wheeler and Aoki pressurising Ike, putting him under a huge amount of pressure. Actually subbed him off in the end and brought Shimikawa on just to relieve a bit of the pressure, I think.
The United States of America, they've shared the tries out. Delagrave has got 9 in the match so far, Aoki 11, Wheeler has got 14, Pabon, the number 23's chipped in with 5, and Daly's got 3. Ikazaki, they've relied a little bit more on him. He's managed 17 and Ike with 11. But this is the first time we've really seen a team turn the screw on Ike. We're so used to him being the one who puts the pressure on and uses that physical size. But for the USA to pick him out, one of their top players as a target, and to successfully rattle him, that's a real win for them.
Oh, it is. It is. But, you know, USA, massively tactical team. They've got 25 years, 30 years of experience playing this game at the highest level. They have great coaching staff and background, you know, coaches as well. And they also have a great depth of players. You know, they have a huge number of players in USA to pick from.
The United States of America get the ball inbounds for the fourth and final quarter, looking to register their first victory of the competition. They lost to Great Britain by 3 yesterday, 50-47, but Japan have turned that over, and they've called the timeout as well. That's the start they wanted. And it was Kei Kurahashi. Smart play from her. Realised it was going to be a hard way around the USA. Caught the ball, called the timeout. Both teams will now have 1 remaining, and that's the start Japan wanted.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they got Masayuki Haga, Kei Kurahashi, but Yukinobi Ike there. He was under pressure from Wheeler and Delagrave, but just reached that right-hander Ikazaki and Ike both on the field of play, but with that, Japan haven't crossed the line in the 12 seconds.
No, wasn't that Ike didn't didn't bounce the balls. You've got to dribble or bounce the ball every 10 seconds.
Wow,
that was set up by Josh Wheeler in defence. He tied Ikazaki up, kept loads of pressure on him. So there were like 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock and forced Ikazaki into that mistake.
Well,
brilliant work. 2
plays, 2 turnovers, and Chuck Aoki gets the first try of the 4th quarter. That's how quickly this game changes. All of a sudden we think Japan have got themselves into it. But again, it's an example of the quick responses, teams making mistakes and then making up for them.
You know, fantastic work from Jeff Butler there. You know, 0.5 playing against a 3 as well. Yeah, that's a massive mismatch.
Haga gets his 3rd try. 40-43. Well, that's a real blow for Japan, isn't it? Aoki showing how quick he is across the court. Ikazaki can't get there, and Aoki gets his 13th try to restore the 4-point lead.
Strong lead with 7-14 left in this game.
Ikazaki. Wheeler goes out to meet him. Ikazaki around the outside. Pass dished to Haga. Gets his 2nd try in quick succession. And Ike just handing that one off. Just over a minute of the 4th and final quarter remaining.
So Wheeler again there doing great work. Butler, great work to release Aoki.
Wheeler waits, but Delagrave receives. 10 tries for that man. Ike going to inject some pace on things. Finds Haga. He's been their go-to man in this 4th quarter. It's his 3rd try of the quarter, 5th of the match.
It's a good little 2-pointer, Haga. Been around, you know, 8 years now.
There's a tyre gone down somewhere there, and nobody seems to have signalled it.
Good work in defence from Haga there on Delagrade too. Both the same pointage, so pretty evenly matched.
Josh Wheeler. It's a lovely line through the middle of the park. It's Ike who needs his wheel repaired though. USA leading by 4 points again, 46-42, 6:16 of the game remains.
Pretty sure these guys were faster than Formula 1.
Yukinobu Ika finds Ikazaki, who surveys the court and tells him exactly where he wants him. Draws 3 USA defenders. Chuck Aoki breaks away but leaves Haga free. 4 tries for him in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he did a really good job there on the corner, blocking the corner for Ikazaki first of all, and then allowing Ikazaki to draw in the middle to pull players in to allow him to receive the ball. Very tactical, this game. Looks like a lot of bashing and crashing, but it's a very, very tactical game.
No try. That another turnover for Japan. They've really struggled with them all match, but they've managed 2 in this 4th quarter. It's so important for them to convert this when they're 3 behind. Let's take another look at this. The pressure came on Aoki.
Yeah, Ikazaki did a good job there, pushing Joe Delagrade out of bounds before Wheeler was able to score.
Here goes Haga. Forced wide, but makes his way over. 5 tries for him. And Japan back within 2. USA doing so well again. All of the pressure from Japan coming over the right-hand side. Adam Skatsuro cruising through the middle, unmarked. That's his first try of the match. He becomes USA's 6th try scorer, Skatsuro.
Yeah, so him and Chad Cohn are on now.
Shimikawa calling for the timeout whilst he was on the way over there. Coolest man in the venue.
Yeah, Chad Cohn did a good bit of work on him there. Got that pick bar in under his front wheel, just flipped him over. You know, for Chad Cohn, 1 pointer, that'll be, you know, a little notch on the bedpost there.
That'll be what he's talking about in the bar after the game, I'm sure. Or over the protein shake.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Just over 5 minutes remain. Japan 44, USA 47. Japan never been ahead in this match. Oh, and Shimikawa has fumbled it over the line. Once again, they failed to convert the turnover. Complacency there from Shinichi Shimikawa.
And pressure from oh, well, it was a good steal there from
Josh Wheeler. Had another tie ago.
But USA managed to keep possession.
Masayuki
Get the
Haga
turnover.
stranded in the middle of the park. Josh Wheeler scores his 15th try after forcing that turnover, and that's twice that's happened. Japan have turned the ball over and USA have managed to get the ball back before them scoring. Remarkable response. Josh Wheeler grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck, the 2.5 pointer from Tucson, Arizona. 15 tries for a 2.5, that's a good return.
Yeah, struggling to get this wheel off here. Like I said, they only have a minute to do this. Really, probably bent spindle or something, really struggling to get the wheel off.
Well, Masayuki Haga adding his weight to proceedings as well. Finally it pops off. I wonder if getting a new one on will be as difficult. No, that one pops straight back in.
Yeah, so just managed to get that done in the time. Then you hear the buzzer go for the end of the equipment technical.
He inbounds the ball after his running repairs, and Shimikawa with a little bit of making up to do after that interception. 4:45 of the match remains. He receives the ball for his 8th try. Shakayoki, beautiful movement in the middle of the park.
Yeah, we've got a great little pick there though from Chad Cohn, taking Haga off Aoki. He's there again, look. The 2 low pointers there on EK.
Well, who's that come off? Aoki causing havoc. Last touch from him. He's actually had a chat to the referee to see who got the final touch, but it was adjudged to be Aoki. But another turnover there, and it would have been curtains for Japan for sure. It's going to be a big ask as it is. Jeff Butler, 27 years of age, from Austin, Texas. He takes his place on the field of play, wearing number 6. Ernie Chun back on as well. Aoki stays on, and Pabon completes the new lineup of 4. Norimatsu getting blocked in. And Japan back to their first choice 4 as well. Ikazaki going around the outside of Pabon.
Good work here from Jeff Butler. So he's going to take the inbound now, so he's not caught in a difficult position right down this end of the court. They use him a lot as an inbounder anyway, which is unusual. You know, a 0.5 not having those long passing skills, but he's got a good pass actually.
He finds Pabon there. Chakayoki up over halfway. He's got Ernie Chun. He's just in his slipstream.
Good work there from Ikazaki.
Pabon comes in with the block, and Aoki goes over in reverse for his 15th of the match. Ike allowed to cruise through to reduce the gap to 3 once again, 47-50. This is the score that they defeated Great Britain by, and the score that Great Britain defeated the United States of America by. So with 3:40 to go, still the potential for lots more tries in this. A high-scoring one, that's for sure. Chuck Aoki calls for the timeout.
Yeah, good pressure there from Japan. You know, they're still making it hard for USA to score. You know, the potential for a turnover. So is that USA out of timeouts now as well? So that will put.
Well, I'm expecting to see more high court presses, because both teams have used all of their timeouts.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, with the comfort of a timeout, if you're running out of time on the 12 seconds, then we could see a few turnovers.
We want to see Japan really raise their intensity now, really start pressurising.
3:35 remaining in the fourth quarter, and as a result, the match. Japan forcing more turnovers than they have done in the entire game in this quarter, but not converting either of them. That'll be a big disappointment to that man. Spoke so highly of the tournament and the hosts beforehand.
Has a huge amount of experience, Kevin Orr. Has coached USA, Canada. Massive amount of development work for wheelchair rugby at the Lakeshore Centre in Alabama.
10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Chuck Aoki receiving a nice block from Jeff Butler, and just forcing his way over with 5 seconds to go. 16 scores for him. He's the top scorer for the USA here.
But they're still trying to take as much time out of every score to make it harder for, you know, to give Japan less time.
Ikazaki goes over unopposed. They're happy to concede those quick tries, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just means they can get the ball and eat the clock away. Under 3 minutes remaining now. Ball inbounds, Chuck Aoki. USA having to do some sharp blocking work here. Joe Delagrave goes up over the halfway line.
So they'll be happy now again to try and use that whole 40 to score this point.
As soon as they're over the halfway, it just grinds to a halt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Happy to allow Japan into their defensive formations. They're ignoring the key because they want to try and create the disruption. Joe Delagrave over the top, finds Josh Wheeler. Beautiful pass. And Wheeler joins Aoki on 16 tries. 2:28 left in the match. USA back up to a 4-point lead. Ike up the right-hand side. The support of Ikazaki to his left, but turns Chuck Aoki. Scores himself. 49-52, 2:19. The clock very much against Japan. Japan had a positive try difference of +2 before this match. Joe Delagrave calling for a mechanical. 2:14 remaining, 35 on the shot clock for the United States of America. It's looking like it's almost definitely going to come down to points difference to see who qualifies for the gold medal match.
Yeah.
So if Japan are going to be defeated, they want to make that defeat as small as possible. Likewise, if the USA are going to win, they want to increase that margin of victory. If it stays as it is, United States of America will have a 0 points difference, which will take them level with Great Britain. Japan will go into negative figures. However, that'll all change when Great Britain play Australia.
Yeah.
Joe Delagrave going to have to find a little bit of speed here just gets over in time. Core, that was close. Josh Wheeler. I looked over at the clock, it was on 28, but they still find the key pass, and Chuck Aoki gets another try. Amazing how quickly defence can turn into attack, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're under pressure on that 12-second clock, but Japan defending high up the court, leave plenty of space.
Well, as you said, once you get over that halfway line, you've got 28 seconds then, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but in the scheme of things, you know, a lot of these players can sprint one end in like 3 or 4 seconds.
Norimatsu getting his first try of the match. Aoki finds Joe Delagrave.
Mistake there from
Norimatsu sent to the penalty box.
Yeah, what he did was he went over the baseline as Delagrave turned away, so he wasn't scoring, so he left the court. So that's another minute in the key now that USA can run off. A good pressure there from Aiki.
Well, they go long early. Ikazaki responds, taking his personal tally up to 20.
Yeah, they want to score their goals as quickly as possible. USA want to take as much time out of the game as they can.
51-54. 1 minute 28 remaining on the game clock. Chuck Aoki blocked in, but does so well to get a little bit of space thanks to the work of Jeff Butler.
He's had an awesome game. Jeff Butler, fantastic .5 player.
Josh Wheeler back to Aoki. Gets the collision from Ike. But USA, despite the best attempts of Japan, passing the ball around so well as we approach the final minute of the match. 13 seconds on the play clock. And Joe Delagrave makes his personal try tally 11. 40 seconds on the play clock for Japan, 55 on the game clock.
Yeah, they still want to score quickly because if they can get a turnover here, like you say, this goal difference can play a difference, in a big difference in the placings.
Ikazaki scoring once again, 21 tries for him. Chuck Aoki finds Joe Delagrave. 12 tries for him. So Japan slipping into negative difference here, now 5 behind. Do apologise, 4 behind, it's 52-56. Ikazaki. Nice line from Norimatsu to open things up. He goes over for try number 22. 53-56, 23.4 seconds remaining. USA en route to their first victory of the competition, and an impressive one at that. Joe Delagrave once again. 13 seconds remaining. And the chance of USA come up from the red, white and blue bench. Ikazaki looking to finish in style for Japan and does exactly that. 23 tries. But that is full time. Japan 54, United States of America 57. USA bouncing back after the disappointment of yesterday's result against Great Britain, and a superb performance from that team on your screens.
Yeah, they were in control of this game all the way through today. You know, they kept Aoki and Wheeler on for most of it, and they controlled the game really well. Japan did well, actually, keeping it back to 3 points at the end, though, so could make it a bit more tricky for the placings.
Well, Japan, the first in the clubhouse. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first match of day 2 of the King Power Quad Nations Wheelchair Rugby competition. United States of America starting as they meant to continue, causing a turnover with the very first play of the game. And we've seen responses from teams who've slipped to defeat. USA responding incredibly well, as Japan did yesterday when they lost to Australia. USA, off the back of that, they're playing Australia later, and that could be a very, very interesting one. Yeah. So important to get as many tries as possible. They've pulled themselves into a positive points difference now, and so much to play for in this competition.
Oh, there is. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the next game. You know, Australia, Great Britain. Yeah, the Rio pool game, only 2 points in it. You know, Great Britain were a bit unlucky again with a couple of passing errors in that game. So I think Great Britain feel they'll be all to play for against Australia. You know, they're not unbeatable.
Well, Japan have had their 3 group matches now. They have played 3, they have lost 2, and they have won 1. Just that solitary victory against Great Britain. They now have to watch on to see what unfolds in front of them if they are going to progress to tomorrow's final here at the Wheelchair Rugby Quad Nations in association with King Power. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We'll be back very soon with Great Britain v Australia. We are live at 2:20. The tip-off is at 2:30. We look forward to you joining us then, and we'll speak to you later. Goodbye.